Hello, it's Coach Deanne. For those of you who get my weekly emails, you probably already read this week about refractors when it comes to determining how much sugar is in your kombucha. But I want to talk to you today and show you just kind of how that process works. For those of you who may not receive my weekly emails already, I will put a link in the comments or this post or somewhere. You'll find it somewhere. I would be happy for you to join me in that and receive those emails. I share typically information on health, gut health, sugar-free, insulin resistance, gadgets, a variety of things. I love gadgets. I love data. I'll be doing another one soon on a continuous glucose monitor because that's kind of what got me started to find this refractor. So just a little bit of background. Last summer, I started using a continuous glucose monitor off and on, kind of randomly. I don't wear it all the time. I am not diabetic. I am not pre-diabetic, but I did want to see how different foods and drinks were impacting my blood sugar. My mom was diabetic, so it's always been something that's been on my radar. But that led me to seeing on my continuous glucose monitor that when I enjoyed my kombucha, my blood sugar was spiking. And we're told that kombucha is carby, so to enjoy it with an e-meal. Unfortunately, I realized that even though I wasn't consuming a large amount, I was doing about 6 ounces, that combined with carbs in my e-meal was just too much for my body to process in kind of what would be a regular amount of time. So ideally your body can process, I'm gonna say normally, I really hate that word, but about 20 grams of carbs in an hour. So I've really learned over this process that full e-meals are not friendly for me in this season. So I typically only do pulled back E's, or sometimes I do as helpers. So an S meal with just a little bit of carbs, because I really want my pancreas to send out a little bit of insulin just to keep everything working the way it's supposed to. But I don't want to overload things and have a lot of insulin coming out regularly. So we can get into that more when I talk about the continuous glucose monitor. So back to today. Today we're going to talk about a refractor. This is what it looks like in the case. It comes like this. I got it, I think, last November from Amazon. It was less than $20. I'm going to show you kind of how it works and explain to you what it does. And then I'll actually do a sample for you so you can see. So this is the actual refractometer. There's a lens here, and then it's got a cover. And all you do is take 2 to 3 drops of what you're trying to measure the sugar content of. So in this case, we're gonna use kombucha. You put a few drops on there, you close the lid, you let it sit for a bit, and then you're gonna look through this eyepiece. And this eyepiece is going to show you a scale. And the scale is in the measurement of Brix is what they use, B-R-I-X. And I'll put some more information below on how that actually translates. But ideally, a Brix is going to be like a gram per 100 milliliters of liquid. So when I did my homemade kombucha, when I tested it, it ended up coming out to 11 grams of carbs per 100 milliliters of liquid. And when I started calculating that and looking at the carbs that I was eating in a meal as well, and then combining that kombucha, I realized I was doing more than I realized. So I'm still enjoying my homemade kombucha. I prefer it homemade, non-flavored, and I don't like it fizzy. That's how all my family likes it. So it tastes like a good, rich apple cider. So even though it was a little more carby than I was expecting, that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy it because the benefits far outweigh that to me. So all I've done is I've decreased the amount that I drink at a time. So now I'm only drinking about 2 ounces at a time, but I can enjoy that almost like at the end of a meal for me. So, I do my veggies first. That has just been something that works better for me that I have found since last year. Veggies first, and then I do my protein. And then if I'm going to have any carbs, that's then when I enjoy it. So that's where I would put my kombucha. And I have found that works much better for the way my body processes things. So again, this is just information for you to look at. This is not, you have to do it this way or your body will process the same way, but I want you to be aware. That's one of the things that as we take this journey of our own health, we have to experience and learn what works for our bodies. because your body doesn't work the same way as mine. Mine doesn't work the same way as everybody else's. So this is solely just for knowledge. And that's one of the reasons why I love gadgets so much. I love the data of what my body is doing, okay? So let me show you how this works. So I've pulled the cap back and I have a little tube. I'm gonna get a little bit of my kombucha, which I'll show you. This is how I store my kombucha. Just kind of, I portion it out a little bit. And so I'm just gonna put 1, 2, 3 drops on there. Okay, and then we're gonna close the lens. And you're just gonna let it sit. Ideally, they say, I think 30 seconds is what you need to let it sit. And then all you do is you hold it up so that you've got a light source behind you. And when you look through there, you're gonna see, and I tried this earlier, I don't know that I can make it happen. I don't think you can start to see that scale, but probably not real well. There you go, kind of. So you can see it's about 11, okay? So that tells you there's 11 bricks in 100 milliliters of the liquid. So that's 11 grams for 100 milliliters of liquid. And you can go through and calculate your ounces and all of that, and that's a lot of good information. And then you can determine how much you want to have. Good news, I mean, that's not bad news. It's just data. The good news is I did test some of these other brands, and they were pretty much in line with what their labels say. So that's great news. Sometimes I'm a little skeptical of labels, but this time I was really pleased that it came out. So again, do I think you should sit down and drink an entire bottle at one time? No, especially if you're not used to drinking it. If you are used to drinking it and you really want all of that at one time, there's 12 grams of carbs in this bottle. If you want that and your body processes that fine, then enjoy it. I still personally, even if my body processed it fine, I would still rather divide it up and enjoy it at different times. So, but that's me. Anyway, so Refractor, I will put a link for it if you are interested in testing some stuff of your own at home. Very simple, great little science thing for your kiddos, no matter how old they are. I know my daughter, who is a junior, enjoyed it. She was like, wow, I didn't know it was that simple. And we got into the whole science of it because there's a prism in there and all sorts of things. So we went a little deeper. She's in chemistry this year. But I hope that was helpful for you. It's a refractor. If you have any questions, feel free to comment and I will get those answered for you. Hope you have a great day.